Not going to lie, you have nice hair flow, almost as nice as Andrew Benintendi. That's about the only good thing about you though. Don't try to argue about leaks for ANW 10 cause it's illegal. Deal with it. Also by the way, NGN is nowhere near NNL. What's up guys, I know this video is called USA vs. the World Review, and don't worry, I'm going to get to that in a minute, but really quickly before I start that part of the video, I do have to address something really quickly, and that is actually my last video. So guys, I know a lot of people are disappointed in me for my last video. Some of them are really pissed off at me, as you can see. And, you know, guys, I guess what happened is that I kind of forgot, especially since I think I've even said in the past that, you know, people shouldn't be leaking the course, and people, but basically, to all the people who are over-exaggerating, thinking that I've committed a crime, it's not illegal to leak the course. That's why you have to sign a contract if you watch ANW in the first place, because if it was illegal otherwise, nobody who went there would have to sign a contract. That specifically says not to leak anything. So I never signed their contract for that show, so it wasn't illegal for me to leak it. I didn't even leak any of those photos. None of them were mine. They were taken from other people who probably actually did sign contracts, and I found them. And lots of competitors do this also, by the way, guys. A lot of them do it on accident in their stories. A lot of people who actually collect on Instagram, because apparently it's okay to do it on Instagram and not YouTube. A lot of them who collect leaked photos on Instagram and then share them in their stories or as posts, the screenshots are usually taken from competitors' stories. So because of all that, guys, and a couple other factors that I will talk about in a second, I kind of forgot that you shouldn't leak stuff because, you know, and it's my mistake. I'm not going to blame it on the fact that everybody else was doing it, and I'm sorry that I did do that. And I also forgot that I was making, because this is my second channel, and I have the subscribers here. I thought these were the people who weren't even necessarily my biggest fans, but these were people that I had become friends with on YouTube. And because I do talk to a lot of, even, you know, a lot of my subscribers from the past have become hosts of my other channel with me. A lot of them are my friends through the Ninja games, so I forgot that, you know, I don't know all the 50 people who are subscribed to this channel, and that was a mistake. And I was making videos for the people that I knew, and I forgot that I had an audience and I didn't know who all of them were. So guys, I'm sorry that I made that mistake, and I'll try and be more cautious of stuff I do in the future. And I also apologize to anybody that I spoiled ANW for. I didn't put a spoiler warning in the video, and that was my biggest mistake, really. I don't know why no one got pissed off about that, but that was the worst thing I did. I'm sorry I made that video. I'm going to be more careful in the future. So now into the actual USA vs. the World review, and I was going to make this video today, and then I saw Universal Tuber's video, so I'm like, well, you know what? Everyone thinks I copy Universal Tuber anyways. Sometimes, technically, I guess. The only thing that I've, like, literally copied... Because, you know, obviously, I make the same videos as Universal Tuber, but I'm trying to think of a time where I saw something that he did, and that's what, like, inspired me to do the exact same thing. Because the Ninja versus Ninja stuff I came up with... Well, I came up with the Yusuke versus... Joe Moravsky versus Drew Drechsel one on my own, because I thought that would be a trending video because all of them were like the 3 best in the world at that time, and then that inspired the rest of them. But I guess the rest of the Ninja vs. Ninja, not the first episode I made, but the rest of them, that was kind of based off of what Universal Tuber did. So I thought, well, you know what, let's not do a USA vs. the World review because Universal Tuber did it. And then I clicked on the video, and it's literally 1 minute of just text on the screen and then 5 minutes of pure blackness. And so guys, I'm sorry that if you're a Ninja Warrior fan and you participate in the Ninja Warrior YouTube community, I'm sorry that me and Universal Tuber are really, like, I'm sorry that there's so few channels that you have to pick through, that you have to deal with us, because I know that there are a lot of good training channels, but me and Universal Tuber are the only, I mean, yeah, we're really the only watchable analysis channels that I found. And I mean, Universal Tuber normally does a good job, and I'm trying to do a better job, but I'm sorry that there's not a big Ninja Warrior YouTube community like I'd hoped that there would be. And obviously, if there was, we would not be on the top, because we really need to step our games up. And I've been trying, and I'm going to do that. So now I've wasted enough of your time with nonsense. Now let's get into the USA vs. the World review. So... well, one thing Universal Tuber did say was that the only good thing was that Team Europe won, and I disagree with that. I think there were a couple really good things. for once, I feel like last season Latin America's team sucked, but this season, especially since some of them had returned and they made it a little bit farther as well, or they did a little bit better technically because now there was an extra team. And also, that one guy who was talking about how everybody in Spain was sharing his video and they all really liked what he had done. I feel like that just made their team better, and I really enjoyed watching them the most of all the teams actually. So I would say that Team Latin America this season, not last season, they were definitely a pro. Definitely, I mean, they were my favorite team to watch. Besides that, the fact that we got to see Stage 4 and we see it so infrequently, even though now, they kind of ruined it and we're going to be getting to see it every single USA versus the world. So it's negative and positive because it's a treat to see Stage 4, especially with two guys racing next to each other. That was a really exciting match, and I'll get into that a little bit more in depth in a second. But it is a treat to see USA versus the world, and there was a tie. So even if they hadn't included that rule, that I really wish they hadn't, because Stage 4 should either be when somebody clears Stage 3 or when there's a tie in USA versus the world, and that way it stays special and it stays novel every time we see it, and everybody's going to enjoy it every time that way. But so it was deserved, yet now they're just giving it to us all the time for free. So it was good because we haven't seen it for a while, but it's also bad because we're going to be seeing it all the time now, and it also kind of ruins it for ANW. And do you guys kind of agree with this? Because we saw USA versus the World 2014. I think it was 2014. Please don't get mad at me if I was wrong, but we saw them try Stage 4 there before we saw Isaac and Jeff make it to Stage 4, and that kind of made that a little bit less novel as well, because Stage 4 had already been ruined for us and it wasn't some big surprise like it could have been. Yeah, so the USA versus the world has kind of ruined Stage 4 a little bit, but this time it was good. But it's also now going to be ruined for the future, so that's a positive and a negative. Then so the actual Stage 4 match was really good. I'm happy that they picked Sean Bryan. I was saying out loud probably, but I was definitely thinking in my head, like, they have to pick Sean Bryan. Even if Joe Moravsky and Drew Drechsel were fresh, Sean Bryan's the fastest. I did a poll on the Ninja Games Instagram account to see if people thought that Najee would have won if they put him up. 60% of the people said yes, 40% said no. I honestly have absolutely no idea how good Najee is at climbing ropes, so I really don't know. But I don't know if you guys caught this, but there was an absolutely hilarious scene when I feel like Drew Drechsel said he wanted to take on Stage 4, and then Joe Moravsky goes over to him and he's like, "No, man, you're too pumped out to do this." And Joe said that he's not going to do it either. I feel like Drew, it's possible that Drew knows that, or Drew, it depends, because I don't know if Drew's really towards the end of his peak or not, and if it's all downhill from here for him. But if it is like that, I feel like he knows it, and I feel like he wanted to get a Stage 4 run in while he had his very last opportunity, and that's why he wanted it so badly, because he has beaten Stage 3. He didn't do it in regular competition, but he has beaten Stage 3, so it sucks that he's never going to get to try Stage 4, possibly, if he really is towards the end of his peak, like I'm kind of starting to feel. So then we had the multiple Stage 3 failures on the Ultimate Cliffhanger. This would have been good if it was a new cliffhanger, but again, this is the Ultimate Cliffhanger. We've seen people beat it for years. I don't care that it's modified. It's the same cliffhanger. It's not new. It's not original. It's just overcomplicated. And people failing on it doesn't have as big of an impact as it has for other cliffhangers, like the Ultimate Cliffhanger, at least during its original 3-season run on Sasuke, and up until when Brent Stephenson beat it in American Ninja Warrior. And then also the crazy cliffhanger, Shin cliffhanger, a lot of cliffhangers. It's been really impactful when people fall on them, but now when we see someone fail on the cliffhanger, like, well, it's because it's overcomplicated. Like, we know these guys can do it, and the one thing is because the really cool move that's on the Ultimate Cliffhanger, and the only thing that makes it worth watching, is that transfer that everybody seems to have so much trouble with on the clear panes glass sides, and that's the only part of that cliffhanger that I like, and it clearly is the most important part of it. It's clearly the hardest part. And yet they tuck it away in the side as if it's the least important part. They have it, like, they need to focus on it better. It needs to be on the main side of the cliffhanger so everybody can see it easier. It's just, it's filmed and in a position where it makes you think that you can overlook that part. Kind of like how you can overlook some of the starting ledges, and, like, obviously you won't really be thinking that a competitor's going to fall midway through a ledge or something like that, or even towards the end. But it's tucked away in a position where you would think there would just be easy moves that are meant to tire them out for the next jump. But no, it's the hardest move there. And it's clearly the hardest move because of the skill it requires, not necessarily because of the strength, but the skill, and I guess actually the power as well. But yeah, so that's the good part of the Ultimate Cliffhanger. The only part I like, and it's tucked away. And at least that part was the big eliminator. But again, we've seen people beat it, so it's less impactful. We know all those guys probably could beat it, except for maybe Najee. So I'm kind of torn about the Ultimate Cliffhanger that season. Or that episode. Stage 1 sucked really badly. I would have liked to have seen Joe finish. I can't remember exactly if Drew finished or not, but I think he did. But I also didn't care because Drew's... Like, we just don't care about Drew on stage 1. We know he's going to beat it. Drew fails stage 1. I don't think he's ever failed. No, he failed stage 1 on, like, his very first season in Sasuke 27 / American Ninja Warrior 3. Don't get pissed off at me if I'm getting those dates wrong, guys. This is all off the top of my head. Like, please. This is just a review video. It's not a heavy research video. Get pissed off at me when I screw up in videos that I should have researched, but this is just a review video, and this is only because Universal Tuber screwed up his. So then what else was there? Stage 2, I really wanted to see Yusuke on the Wingnuts. I can't blame ANW for that, for the fact that he didn't get to try it, but god damn it, I really want to see him on the Wingnuts. At least we got to see Sean McColl on the Wingnuts, and that was another highlight of the episode. The rest of the stage 2 rounds I could have cared less about. Najee cleared it again, which was cool because, you know, that kind of proves that, like, that proves that really is his skill, and he's probably the best at that, because we've seen Joe fail that in stage 1 of NNL. No, stage 2 of NNL. I can't remember how Najee did in NNL. I didn't actually see his run. That was part of it that I missed, and I'm not going to go back and rewatch that because that's something that you gotta watch live because it's playback value. I feel like NNL doesn't have that because it's not produced like a TV show that you're not supposed to watch live. It's produced like something you're supposed to watch live. So I don't know how Najee did in NNL. I know he was in NNL though. But I feel like he's the only person that we can guarantee will not fail in the Wingnut. Sean Bryan proved that he actually just got lucky last season in ANW 9 beating it, and he just overdid the error that he made there, and that caused him to fail, almost get hurt. Really sucked to see Team Asia fail in the beginning. I'm really disappointed that it's Team Asia and not Team Japan, and then they should have Team Japan and then another team from Asia overall, or they should really just ditch this USA versus the world thing. Ditch Sasuke Indonesia versus the world, because honestly, those two tournaments on their own suck. Nobody cares. Like, people in the United States care about USA versus the world. People in Indonesia care about Indonesia versus the world. They need to have a big world tournament on a new course. Like, you know what? No, they need to have a big tournament on Sasuke's course. Want to know why? Because Sasuke's course, compared to ANW at least, has a gradual buildup of difficulty. You know that everybody's going to be beating stage 1, so it's all about time. You know most of the people are going to be beating stage 2, so it's also mostly about time. And also, it will finally put stage 2's the end of that course, because, like, most of the people, the amount of fear that we would have towards the end of the course for somebody to go fast would be so much more amplified if it was a race versus just a time limit for the end of stage 2 in Sasuke. And then Sasuke stage 3 would be the ultimate proof of who in the world is the strongest and who can take on the hardest course, because Sasuke stage 3 is the hardest stage 3. And then Sasuke stage 4 right now, oh my gosh, if they could find a way to get that to be side by side, oh, that would be the most epic race, and no one would deny that. If that could be a tiebreaker race on Sasuke stage 4, because no one cares about ANW's rope, it's just a rope. Like, at least Sasuke even knows that you need to rotate out the rope for other stuff and bring it back only once in a while, but whatever. But yeah, I don't really care about USA versus the world anymore. It used to be a really novel and cool thing until I started realizing that this is just in the United States and it doesn't really matter for the rest of the world. So what they really need is literally like Ultimate Beastmaster, but Ultimate Beastmaster can't be it because Ultimate Beastmaster is not part of Ninja Warrior. It's its own thing. So it has to be like Ultimate Beastmaster and how they bring all their countries around, and it has to be a world tournament. And I would say don't even do it every year. Do it every 2-3 years. Not 4, because 4 is too much. Do it every two years. Yeah, 2 years. and do it on odd numbered years so that it doesn't interfere with the IFSC International Climbing. And I can't remember what that stands for. It might be ICF, whatever, the climbing championship. I remember what it was called this morning, but I can't remember now. International Federation of Sport Climbing. So it was IFSC. So they need to have a world tournament that matters for every country. It needs to be broadcast in every single country where Sasuke is, and every single country needs to have a team. Europe needs to be split apart because, quite frankly, here's the reason that USA won. And they didn't win that time. Sorry, guys, that was really dumb of me to say. This is the reason USA almost always wins. At least compared to Japan, Europe's a different story. I feel like for Europe, they really aren't picking the cream of the crop, but I can't say for sure because I don't watch any of the European Sasuke shows. I really would like to, but I just can't find any of them or how to watch them anywhere. If any of you guys know that, please. And if you have like a link for like a legal website, send it to me in the comments or something. But back to that though, because I feel like I'm about to run out of space for recording this video anyways. USA almost always wins, and they have the best athletes in the world besides maybe Europe, because Europe has rock climbers, so that's why they have the best in the world. But they're still not picking the cream of the crop. But for ninjas, they're picking the cream of the crop for rock climbers, so sometimes they're going to do good most of the time. Unless they get lucky and get to the very end, they're not going to do good. But USA almost always has the best people, because like, honestly, it's pathetic that USA chooses from 800 to 600 people every year, but they do the best of every single Sasuke country, or every single Ninja Warrior country, or country with Ninja Warrior. And from that 600 to 800, they really get weeded out to pick the strongest of them. And because Stage 1 already has such a high incline of difficulty, like Stage 1 is already so hard. Sasuke Stage 1 is easy, but Stage 1 and Stage 2 on ANW are already so hard, almost as hard as Stage 3. Like, come on, guys, be honest. Stage 3, the only difference between Stage 3 and Stage 2 is the endurance factor. And Stage 2 still has its own endurance factor, it's just lesser. And Stage 2 is a little easier, but like, Stage 1, Stage 2, and ANW are already really hard. So that weeds out all the guys who can't handle it, and that picks the very best people. But in Sasuke, we're never going to really know who are the best people, because a lot of those guys get screwed up on easy obstacles in Stage 1 that are more game show obstacles rather than strength obstacles. And I like that in Sasuke, don't get me wrong, but it's also not the best method for picking the strongest people. But so then also, what Sasuke's the obstacle difficulty is moderate, and this is why, like, I like Jessie Graff, and I really think she is one of the best athletes, but this is the reason she did the same. She went as far as Drew Drechsel in Sasuke 34, because the obstacles are pretty easy up until the ultra crazy cliffhanger, and then the difficulty jumps from way below ANW, way above ANW could ever be. Not could ever be, but probably will ever be. And so, and because of that, Sasuke's never going to really know, like, who is the true best. At least they don't know who's the best right now. They only know who's the best back a couple seasons ago, and that's why they have Yusuke and Kawaguchi as the two top guys. But I really feel like if they had a better gradual incline of difficulty, then it would turn out a lot better. And hopefully we're going to get that with the Planet Bridge. That's what it's called, yeah, the Planet Bridge. Planet Bridge should add some incline of difficulty. And Stage 2 in Sasuke is hard. It's definitely the best Stage 2 that has ever existed. But still, somehow it doesn't weed out people. In fact, a couple seasons ago, everybody cleared that version of Stage 2, and it really hasn't changed since then. That one's, I don't know what to say about Sasuke's Stage 2. It's perfect, and yet still it doesn't weed out people, so I don't know. Anyways, though, guys, I hope you liked my review. What I have to say is that this USA versus the World was better than last year's USA versus the World, but it's also the second worst USA versus the World, just in my opinion. I'm sure some of you guys loved it, and that's awesome. So there were a lot of good things. There were a lot of bad things, and yes, I do think it's a good thing that Team Europe won, actually. I really wish that they would just do a world tournament for Sasuke and not USA versus the World. They really got to do that. That's what has to be done.